And we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. Ah, look at that nice moon. So cool. So apparently Lua, or the moon, was supposedly the capital of Awoken civilization. Not Earth. Here, this is where they had their big capital city. Fascinating, right? But I read up on a piece of lore that was actually quite interesting before. I hadn't sort of considered that. But like, you know, since you have these mindless sentients that have overtaken Earth and you can't really live there anymore, and it's just a constant struggle to sort of like just try to claim it during the day and then just abandoning it at night and whatnot. And why are they still doing it? Why are they still like trying to keep control of Earth instead of just abandoning it? And then, you know, it sort of struck me as I read it. It's like, well, water. that's where you get the water. You don't get that from anywhere else in the solar system, and the Grineer kinda need water. so that's the value that Earth still holds in the grand scheme of things. Now let's just ignore, for the sake of this conversation, the fact that with the terraforming efforts that Venus is now like an ice planet. Because, you know, ice is water. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna continue with the Inaro's quest. As you can see here, I've filled the jug. I got super lucky from the fact that it was Grineer Manix. The reason why that's super lucky is because when it comes to like just, you know, their dropping ash parts and stuff like that, the Manix that spawn in the Tile Rigger boss fight do not count. They cannot give any of the drops that Grineer Manix regularly can give you. But they do count for this quest. So I just had to play like and you know, it's like between 3 to 6 of them that spawn in the boss fight. So I just had to play the Tile Rigger boss fight once, and I got the vessel. So that's it. That's completed. And we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap up this mummy. Ah! You see that? That was a pun. Yeah. We're making mummy jokes here. Not about your mummy. I'm making jokes about my mummy. And that's better. That's respectful. It's like a fat guy, like just a fat kid making jokes about how fat he is.
Down. Make them fear this place.
Oh yeah.
The Grineer should be swept away.
Barrel's getting a spine. No, it's like a fat kid making jokes about his own fatness as a form of self-defense, right? Because, you know, as a former fat kid, I have some experience with this. It was like, if I make fun of myself, I take the power away from you. Now you can't make fun of me for being fat because I already made a joke about myself. See? I got there ahead of you. Of course, this is like just, you know, it's not healthy, but we all do what we can to survive in this cruel world. And especially kids. Kids can be especially cruel. As, you know, oh, some gallium. As maybe, you know, wonder what Barrow's childhood was like. Good old Barrow Keteer. Where's he from? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out someday. See that, people? That's something we like to call foreshadowing. All the best Let's Players are doing it. Just to let people know what might be about to come and keep them in suspense. Keep them wanna watching to find out. Where's he going with this? Where's he going with these hints? What's it all about? Well,
Quickly, quickly, my sweet Dune, they're coming.
Who are coming? Ah, yes, the awoken.
I tried so hard to forget.
Ah, yes. With the help of the old booze. That's what I also use to try when I try to forget. I understand that, Barrow. I respect that. And we're inside. Another vessel.
Quickly, in here. Don't make a sound, Barrow. Here, hold these grains in your hand tight. Inaros will protect you.
It wasn't me I was worried about.
What do you want? No, you have no right.
Inaros. Inaros. Inaros.
No, it's just me.
Inaros. Inaros.
No.
He didn't come.
But Inoros never came. You've shown me why I came here, Tenno. Not for riches. The doors are closing again. Prove that you're worthy of Inoros' strength one last time.
And we have to fight an Inaros Spectre. Okay. Maybe we can do that. Let's give ourselves some nifty little ice armor here. Or glass armor, actually. God, I'm taking so much toxin damage. I don't like it. Sweet. I got rifle ammo. That's what we needed. So now there's probably gonna be another one of those guys. Alright. Yeah, there he is. A big Inaros to counteract the smaller Inaros. But it's fine. I have this stupidly modded Acceltra. It does the trick. Final 2 ones. Let's see if I can pop them both at once. Yes, I can. Which is good, because, you know, as always with the Acceltra, ammo conservation, man. Man, Inaros, you ain't so tough.
My mother's call will be answered.
Oh, I guess he
Inaros
was.
will rise again. Come home, Tenno.
Okay, Barrow, I will come home. Woo! So you could hear that it was Grenier who came here and killed his mother. But that was like before the whole uprising thing and, you know, the destruction of Orokin civilization. So back then the Grenier were just, you know, slave labor to the Orokin. The Orokin wouldn't come themselves. They'd send just whoever to pick shit up for them. Alright. That's the final part of the quest. We got the final part of the Inaros. And a nifty vessel. But this vessel is different. This vessel is not something we need to collect stuff in. It is merely a decoration for our orbiter, if we so choose. See? It's no longer standing there. We're done. So we're gonna get a piece of mail any second now. But for now, as you can see, we got... Where is he? There, Inaros. We got the bloops for all his parts. All we need is some argon crystals. We can make ourselves an Inaros. We are gonna do that. Because Inaros is kinda cool. I'd like to show him off. And more importantly, he looks badass. So... Ah, there we go. One message in my inbox.
She was gone, but somehow you let her speak again. You made me face my past, made me remember who I was. Take his relics and let him rise again. I couldn't think of selling them anyway. For me, these few grains of sand are all the treasure I need. Both of us know why Inaros couldn't have saved her. He wasn't able to listen then. But things are different now. Am I right?
That's deep. That's very deep, Barrow. Ah, there he is. So this is the walk like an Egyptian Warframe. He's got powers of sand and tombs and all of that stuff. He's a tough guy. Inaros is just a big old tank. And that's cool. We like frames like that. They have their definite uses. If you like playing tanky frames and just, you know, don't always want to play a rhino. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's so cute. Then maybe you could think about maybe giving old Inaros a spin. You'd probably like it if you did. Alright. Now it's time to dive into a new quest. We have a couple of different ones we can do. What I've done is I have unlocked the path to Eris from Pluto. Whoomp. I haven't actually played the Eris missions yet, but they have 2 assassination missions here, which are quest related. One is called the Mutalist Alad V assassination mission, and one is called the Jordas Golem. And they are both quests that you get here in Eris.
Operator? Is that a pun? I will attempt to bypass this fault.
And I feel like at least Patient Zero we should do, because I have some stuff I want to talk about with that.
Alad has launched a full-scale invasion into all sectors of the system. We're working on fighting back, but we need to take this fight to the source. We need to find Alad V and stop him.
Alad V, huh? So Eris is interesting. I've talked about Eris a bit in the one of the previous missions when I talked about like Nightwave in this season. Eris as a planet is fucked. It is completely fucked because it's overrun by the infestation. Done. So as you can see from the mission log here, all of the Eris missions take place in space. In just these sort of derelict ships orbiting the system. That's not the case for like any other planet. See here, Pluto, you have stuff that's on the face of Pluto. Neptune, you have stuff on the face of the planet. Even Jupiter, gas city, it's floating cities, but like they're there on the planet side. Not Eris. Eris is different because Eris is lost to the infestation. You cannot go down to the planet, to the surface. And in Nightwave, they talked about that, how there's actually sort of like people living in these sort of big ships orbiting the planet. And a thing they do to punish criminals is they jettison them in pods down to the surface and just leave them to their fate. Which is horrible. It's a horrible thing to do. Now, there's a theory that when it comes to like just game development, if you look at the 2 open world scenarios right now, you got the Plains of Eidolon, and that one is clearly devoted to wait, they have a sortie that's on free roam? Oh, that's cool. Plains of Eidolon is clear like dedicated to the Grunir faction. And then you have the Fortuna or Valley stuff, which is very much Corpus themed. And we know from the one they're working on now, which is going to be like the Duviri Paradox, it's probably going to give us a 3rd open world section. And that one seems to be Void. It seems to be focused on the Corrupted, which is also like, you know, a faction in the game. And that leaves, at some point in the future, an infested open world segment. And I am willing to bet good money that that's going to be on Eris. That's going to be you going down planet side and just going down to the surface of Eris. And who knows, maybe there's even some sort of weird human settlements that have somehow survived there and no one knows about them. and they're just hanging out there and are still alive after all this time. Who knows? It's gonna be cool. It's gonna happen sometime. You heard it here first. Ares is going to get like a planet-side section. But now we got something different here. Alad V is doing an invasion on like these ships that are circling around Ares. What's that about? And this goes back to what I've talked about before with Alad V, where all of his story is told sort of out of order. Very much out of order. So I think like his boss encounter might be the first time you encounter him, maybe, I don't know. I don't even think so. I think you encountered him in like events before. And this was before I started playing Warframes. I don't know all that much about the first, like how he was introduced to the game.
For months. His attacks on their ships have been nearly as devastating as those of the Grineer Fomorians. We are here to find out what the Corpus know.
So yeah, we do know that there is the civil war going between the Grineer and the Corpus, which was in some part, you know, started by at least this latest incursion by Vehek. So, but as you can see here, it's like even on this Corpus ship.
Been sending ship after ship to hunt Alad V, with each one succumbing to the infestation.
What do you mean the infestation?
Intel and finish the job for them.
Because this is a Corpus ship, and they're talking about how Alad V is invading it with infestation, right? And that's super weird, isn't it? And that is because something happened in some event, and it's not part of the story anymore. But in some event... Oh right, this is a spy mission. In some event, Alad V became infested. He suffered infestation.
Trigger the alarms now and
Right?
will start destroying the data.
But then, at some later point, he got better, folks. He got better. So obviously, you know, there's another boss fight with Alad V here, in the end. And, you know, canonically, he's not gonna die here. Canonically, he's still alive. That's fine. They're not gonna get rid of Alad V. He's the most fun character they have in the game. I love Alad V. But this is kind of messed up in that way.
They won't even know it's gone.
In that, like, they took something and...
I took a disease and turned it into a life-altering gift.
Hi, Alad.
Someday you may learn to appreciate what I'm giving this system. Until then, all you can do is rage against the inevitable.
Sure. Ah! Don't pull me like that. So yeah, Alad V is infested now. Great. But that's weird, right? He's infested, but he still has his faculties. You can still sort of talk to him. And that sort of like hints at the fact that maybe the infestation isn't as mindless as we think it is. Which is already hinted at, where things like Forid and Lephantis kind of talk to you in their own voice. And there's another thing later, which I can't show you until I get Nidus, which is another Warframe. We're gonna get that. And it's another thing to point out, like how the infestation might not be what we think it is. But that's also like a thing. Hey, look at Arlo here in Season 2 of Nightwave. Where like, he seems to be an infested somehow, but he leads a cult,
A clean extraction with no alarms.
right? And is masquerading as a normal little child. So yeah, if they were to ever do like an open world infestation thing, they could like sort of expand on what the infested are, and just show us that like no, they're actually sentient, not sentient as the AIs who are, you know, in the old war and all that. But I'm talking about like actually just they're not mindless. They might not be. Maybe it's a hive mind thing, who knows? But that's gonna be a long time in the future. It's gonna be a long time from now. Because, you know, it's not even the next open world they're planning. The next open world they're planning is gonna be void themed. So we're looking at, like, I don't know, 2-3 years down the line. Yeah. It's gonna be cool though, whenever it eventually happens.
If you trigger the alarms now, the enemy will start destroying data.
So what's nice about these story missions is that they're very lenient. Like it's a super easy version of this spy mission. It's like I'm playing the one on Venus basically in terms of difficulty. I don't know. It's just designed so that you don't fuck it up. That's nice of them. Woo! Nice of them to do that. But yeah, what they did with the Alad V thing is that they just sort of introduced us to the midway point of the story. We don't get to see the thing where he becomes infested, because I think that was like some other event that's not... That was just a timed thing, and it's not part of this this story section of the game, right? I think.
Data extracted.
I'm not sure, but I think.
Gone. We have everything we came for. Get to extraction.
Yes, Lotus.
Tenno, this goes deeper than I thought. Alad V has gotten his hands on another Warframe. If he can infest it like he did with Corpus. Hurry to extraction. We have to move quickly.
Great. So the first Warframe he got his hands on, obviously, like I explained to you before, was Valkyr. It's not super well explained in the game, but that's what he did. So now he is trying to experiment with potentially creating infested Warframes. Which is funny, because as we're gonna find out in a later side quest, that actually very much exists. But it's not this one. It's not the one that Alad V is mucking about with. No. No, it's another one. It's called Nidus. Super cool. We're gonna get to him. We're gonna get to him because he's interesting in so many other ways.